financial literacy. Now, I am not a financial guru. I am not a financial advisor, anything like this. But what I can say is I've hit rock bottom financially where I looked at my bank account and I was like, oh, I think I have like $700 and rent's due in a few days and I got to figure it out. And I also know that years before that, I was in DC with a real estate agent about to buy a condo. So had money in my bank account to starting my own business and the business surviving, but at the expense of my personal finances. What that did for me was mentally, I was like, I will never be at this place again. So I really started to focus on areas where from a financial standpoint, I could save, I could invest, I could budget. There are things that if you're in your 20s and 30s and even 40s, if you haven't done from a financial standpoint that you can do that will de-stress you, that will allow you to breathe a little bit. What you want to do is get yourself to a point where you have a level of comfort. Finances, from a relationship standpoint, finances are one of the highest driving forces of divorce. And it's because it weighs heavy when you have people around you and you have responsibilities and things cost money. And if you don't have your finances straight, then you're in a chase to get money to put back into kind of a bucket that always has a hole that you're always trying to fill. So if you can take a step back and you can look at your finances, you can budget a little bit, you can invest a little bit, you can be smarter about your money. And also, if you make sure your money has a purpose, if you make sure every dollar has a purpose, you will see where you're spending kind of aimlessly and you'll see where you really want to spend. So for example, we wanted to save up for a house and everything like that. When we really got intentional about that, that was, okay, this is a purpose. Now our dollars have a purpose behind it. Now we said, okay, we want to save this amount. We want to buy a house that has these attributes. So it's going to be an XYZ price range. Now, when I would think, oh, I want to buy this $100 pair of shoes, that was a thought that I really had to think about. Well, could this $100 pair of shoes, do I really need this? Or is this kind of aimless spending? Or if I have that $100, can I say, let me put this in the bucket over here towards a house? Now, when I did that, what it did for me was it put my money to use for a specific use versus spending aimlessly. If you can audit yourself and where you're spending, sometimes you'll see, oh, some things you really don't need to spend on. What Carly and I have done here, which has been great, was we really create a budget when it comes to groceries, because when we lived in San Diego, we were living downtown and we were just kind of spending all kinds of money on groceries and making all these great meals and stuff like that. And we make great meals now, but the reality was we weren't tracking any sort of spending. So now it's like, okay, we order our groceries because it allows us to see how much we're spending before we're even in the checkout line. And it allows us to really think through what we want to have for the week and what our budget is. And it helps so much because the rest we can put aside for other things, for kids' college, for all these other stuff that we want to do, because it's taking the money and it's putting it and using it for a purpose. If you can do that, if you can just audit yourself and just take that step right there, it's going to help you in the long run. You aren't going to see it immediately. That hitting rock bottom and bouncing back, that took years. That financial literacy and realizing that I want to make my money work for me, that took some time because I had to get out of bad habits of, oh, let me just spend money on here and this and that. And those are habit changes. And a lot of these things are habit changes and they take time, but they will set you up for success if you just lock into it for a few years' time, but just take day by day steps. Thank you so much for watching this video. We have clips and content coming out every single week, full videos on Thursdays and clips coming out almost every single day. You can subscribe to this channel if you like it. Also, please send it to somebody who you know needs this message or any message that you see, and we will see you in the next video.